And I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Today you have me by myself, my business associate, V. Lynn Hawkins, business associate and good friend. She is in Bali right now at a mastermind, and she's there gathering great information and building partnerships. And that's actually what we're going to talk about today, which is associating with credible partners can boost trust and credibility. It, by the way, I'm Kathleen Gage, and I am with Vegan Visibility Productions. And my business associate, as I mentioned, is V. Lynn Hopkins, who is the co-founder of Vegan Visibility Productions. And I am reminded of when I was a kid, and my mother said, "Who you associate with really makes the difference. They will either raise you up or they'll bring you down." And there's the famous saying of, "If your friends all jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge?" And back then, I probably would have. Today, I make sure to hang out with people who are going to raise me up. And what I simply mean by that is, do I trust the people that I surround myself with? And do I feel that they add to my life rather than take away? I saw a meme recently on social media that said, "Your friends should leave you with a feeling of joy and fulfillment when you walk away from that conversation or that encounter, rather than feeling defeated and depleted." So, what I want to talk about today is associating with credible partners. How do you know that somebody's credible? I remember early on when the internet first was introduced to market, and people could create these personas and these portfolios, if you will, that were not really who they were. And you would find out after the fact that they just were portraying something that wasn't true. Um, the first thing about really finding people that you feel are credible and trustworthy is to trust your gut, because oftentimes there's that little voice inside that is just saying, something's off. Even though it appears as if they're reputable, even though it appears as if they're somebody who has a position in the community, there's something about them that I just don't trust. And I remember years ago, I worked for a company. This was, I think I had my business about 4 years by this point, and I was invited to actually join this company. So I basically suspended operations in what was called Street Smarts Marketing at the time. My company has been through many, many recreations, and at the time it was Street Smarts Marketing. I've always had my corporation, my S Corp, which is Turning Point Inc. And then underneath that, I've had different names for my business, depending on the market I was targeting at the time and depending on what I was going through at the time. Now it's Vegan Visibility and Vegan Visibility Productions. But I had left my company and I was running this business, and there were just some things about the owner of the business that just weren't sitting right, but I chose to ignore it because I had the corner office. I had a staff of 25 people. I was making a six-figure income, and this was back in 1997 or 98. So, things were pretty good. I had good position in the community. I was building partnerships within the community based on this company. I sat on a council for the Department of Workforce Services in the state of Utah. I was the vice chair. So I had a lot of clout, but there was just something that wasn't settling right. And as it turned out, the owner had embezzled a lot of money. The doors were shut. The business was built on a house of cards, and it all came crashing down. I was owed a substantial amount of money in bonuses, things I had worked very hard for. We had done events within the community. We did a huge career expo, and it all came crashing down. And had I done my due diligence, had I done more trusting my intuition, it's likely I would not have been involved at the level that I was, if at all. So what you want to do, first of all, is you really want to trust your intuition. If one person says something bad about somebody, it could be that one person. If you're hearing it over and over and over again, you want to pay attention to that. Because the fact is that In relationships, you are judged through association. So if you're surrounding yourself with reputable people, people are going to assume that you're reputable. If you're surrounding yourself with people who may have tarnished reputations, you really want to take that into consideration. And it's more important to be willing to walk away from a situation and have your dignity than to stay in a situation that may not be an ethical situation. So that's one thing to look at. Another thing is trust is earned. It's not demanded. And, I look at the relationship that I have with V-Lyn. We have built it over time. We started with some small projects. We started with one or two clients, working together with these clients and learning our work style. That's another thing in the partnerships that you have, is to realize everybody brings something different to the experience. And with trust, it's like, do people follow through on what they say? What's the quality of delivery that they have on projects that you're working on? But I will tell you that creating these partnerships can raise you up very quickly. One of the best ways to do a partnership arrangement is to do a summit, where you actually coordinate a summit. And we do this with our clients where maybe they didn't have a summit, but it's a great way to build a list. It's a great way to build market reach. It's a great way to build credibility. And what you do is you start with looking at, okay, who is my market? Who do I serve? Based on that, what is it that my market really needs that I am qualified to deliver, whatever that may be? And then based on that, who would be some of the partners that we could bring in? For example, when I really wanted to go into the vegan market, what I did is I looked at the people that I had been communicating with. I looked at the people who had good reputations. I looked at the people who I wanted to associate with, and I put on the first Vegan Visibility Summit. And I went to the people that I had been communicating with primarily on LinkedIn, reached out to them, and I said, I'm putting this summit together. And I had an actual plan put together, because that's part of trust and credibility, is being organized in your approach. But I approached the first person, which happened to be Katrina Fox. And I said, Katrina, I'm doing this summit, and you're the first person I'm asking, and I would love for you to do a presentation on publicity, I believe it was. And she immediately said yes, because one, I was organized. Two, I had been around for a little while on social media, not necessarily within the vegan market. But once she said yes, then I was able to go to the next person and say, Katrina's involved in this. Would you be interested? And I think it was Stephanie Red Cross West. And she said yes. And so I had Katrina and I had Stephanie, two very, very credible people that the fact that they had said yes gave me more credibility. So then I went to the next person, and the next person. And what's interesting, though, is when you get involved in these partnerships, you quickly learn who people are, because everybody agreed that they would be involved in the marketing. Everybody agreed that they would get their presentations to me within a certain period of time. Everybody agreed to certain things. And it was so interesting to see who followed through 100% and was so easy to work with. Matali, the vegan publisher, phenomenal woman. If you ever need a good partner, she's the one to partner with, and Katrina is, and Stephanie is. I mean, I have to say these people are pretty phenomenal. But there were a few people that they just didn't want to play by the rules. On the second one I did, there were a few people that were like, oh, well, I want to do it this way, and I want to do this, and I don't want to do the marketing, and I don't want to do that. And it's like, wait a minute, everybody else is playing full out. So that's part of the trust and credibility also, is, are people willing to play at the level that they said that they would play? Are they following through? And if they are, fantastic. That creates more opportunity. Because one thing to keep in mind is your reputation precedes yourself, which means that your actions speak much louder than the words that you speak. If you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, that probably is going to close a few doors for you. If, on the other hand, you say you're going to do something and you go above and beyond that, that's going to open up other opportunities. Another thing to look at, though, is when you go that extra mile, is it really appreciated? Great example is if you're working with somebody and you just give and give and give and give, and they never acknowledge that, it's kind of like, huh. Or they point out everything that was wrong instead of what you did right. That's another, do you really want to partner with them? So there's a number of factors to look at when you're looking to build partnerships. So again, going back to the summit example, if you are fairly new to a market or you really want to get visibility quickly, a great way to do it is to put on a summit. Now, keeping in mind that it takes a lot of work to put on a good summit. It's not just a matter of people showing up and doing a presentation. There's the marketing, there's the development of the marketing material, there's the bringing in the partners, there's the making sure that the partners all have what they need, that they're following through, that they get reminders, because especially in light of what goes on with email, people, I have a client that I put some beautiful marketing material together for her, and I sent it to her, didn't hear back, sent her another message, didn't hear back. And I was talking to her the other day and I said, did you ever get that information I sent you? She never received it. So I went into my send file in email, found it, and I just forwarded that one so that she could see that I did, in fact, send it probably a week or two ago. And so the thing to keep in mind is when you reach out to people, don't assume if you don't hear back from them that they don't want to talk to you. It could be that they never heard from you. I actually have 2 podcast shows. I produce podcast shows. And oftentimes when we reach out to a guest, we don't hear from them right away. And a lot of people assume, well, they don't want to be on my show. Not true. It could be that they never got the message or that they're so busy. The busier an influencer is, the harder it is to get through either their gatekeeper or to them. And so keeping in mind that part of building those relationships that build trust and credibility is you have to be persistent without hounding people. And also, part of building that trust and credibility is don't try to pitch people right out the gate. I see this on LinkedIn all the time where somebody will befriend you or they'll say, I want to connect with you, and then immediately go into a sales pitch by saying, oh, I noticed that you're not getting a lot of visibility on such and such. And it's like, that's not the way to approach people. It's about respect. And so collaborative partnerships are a great, great, great way to build trust and credibility, but it's being really clear on who these partners are, why you're partnering with them, and are you giving them enough time to make the right decision? Because I know that a lot of people are putting events on and they're doing something in 30 days that should take 6 months to do. So you want to make sure that you give people enough time to be able to say yes. This is Kathleen Gage with Vegan Visibility Productions, and I miss my business partner, V-Lynn, but she's out in Bali having a great time, getting some great information, and going to bring it back to our company and make sure that we are able to take things to the next level. So be watching for that. We're going to have some wonderful, wonderful live streams coming. And let us know what you want to hear. Reach out to us and let us know, what would you like us to talk about that has to do with marketing, promotions, books, podcasting, summits, things of that nature. Let us know, and we will be sure to get that information out there. This is Kathleen Gage, wishing you a great day.